There was a young man named Veer who lived in a quiet village tucked between hills and rivers. He had dreams just like everyone else. But his dreams weren't about riches or fame. His dream was simple: to matter, to run the race of life with purpose. He believed if he ran fast enough, worked hard enough, and kept moving forward, he would eventually find what he was looking for: peace, joy, meaning. So every day from the time he was a child, Veer kept running. First for grades, then for approval, then for promotions, then for love. People admired him, teachers praised him, colleagues respected him. He checked every box, hit every goal, won every race. But inside, something always felt off. Every time he reached a finish line, a new one appeared. Every time he accomplished something, it felt empty a few days later, like water slipping through fingers. But he kept going, because that is what life teaches us. Keep running, keep pushing, keep proving. Veer's father once told him, "In this world, if you stop, you fall behind." That sentence became a voice inside his head, louder than his own. So he ran harder, slept less, smiled less, paused never. His calendar was full, his days were productive, but his nights were silent. His heart ached for something he couldn't name. Then one day, something happened. He went to visit his childhood friend, Ratan, who lived a simple life as a school teacher in the same village where they grew up. They had not spoken in years. Veer stepped into Ratan's small home and noticed the laughter in the air. Children played in the courtyard. Ratan's wife hummed as she cooked. The air smelled of wood and warmth. Veer looked at Ratan, who sat on the floor sketching with his daughter, and he asked, "How do you find the time to sit like this? Don't you worry about falling behind?" Ratan looked up, smiled and said, "Falling behind who?" That single question cracked something in Veer. That night, he lay awake on a thin mattress, hearing crickets through the window. He thought about all the years he spent racing, but he could not remember what he was really racing toward, or against, or for. The next morning, Veer walked alone through the village fields. The sunrise felt softer, the wind gentler. He hadn't noticed these things in years. That is when an old man approached him, bent with age but with eyes full of clarity. He said, "You look like someone who is running fast but going nowhere." Veer laughed awkwardly. "I suppose I am." The old man sat beside him and told a story. There was once a young boy who entered a race with others. He ran with all his might, faster than everyone else. He reached the finish line and turned around, but no one had followed him. He had taken a path no one else took, and though he won, he was alone. He asked the wind, "What did I win?" And the wind whispered, "You won nothing, because the race wasn't real." Veer sat in silence, absorbing the tale. It stayed with him, not just that morning, but for days, weeks, because in that story he saw himself. He realized he had been running from his past, from guilt, from mistakes, from fear of not being enough. He was not chasing a dream. He was fleeing a shadow. But life is not a straight line. It is not a race where you outrun yesterday and collapse into tomorrow. It is a path, a rhythm, a breath. And unless you live for today, yesterday becomes a chain, and tomorrow becomes a blur. Many of us live like that. We carry the weight of what we should have done. We replay mistakes. We regret words said in anger. We mourn time wasted, and we think we must keep moving to escape it all. But we never truly escape. We only exhaust ourselves. There is no medal for burnout. There is no trophy for emotional distance. A woman once shared in a support group how she had spent 15 years climbing the corporate ladder. She had a dream office, a big title, but she also had migraines, panic attacks, sleepless nights. One day, her young son asked her, "Mum, are you always angry?" She broke down because she realized she had been running so hard for success, she had forgotten to live. Time does not wait, but time also does not chase. It walks with you, if you walk with it. Veer began to change, not all at once, but slowly. He stopped setting alarms on Sundays. He started walking to work instead of driving. He turned off his phone at dinner. He called his mother more often. He forgave someone who had hurt him. He forgave himself. He began writing again, something he had stopped doing years ago because it didn't make money. And in those simple moments, he began to breathe differently. Life no longer felt like something to survive. It felt like something to experience. You see, when you live only for goals, life becomes a checklist. But when you live for the present, life becomes a gift. The past cannot be changed, the future cannot be predicted, but the present can be lived. There is a reason we call it the present, because it is a gift. And yet, we treat it like a burden, wishing it away, dismissing it, sacrificing it for a tomorrow that may never come. There was a man who had just retired. He had worked every single day of his adult life. He had skipped vacations, postponed hobbies. He told himself he would enjoy life once he stopped working. On the day of his retirement, he was diagnosed with a terminal illness. He sat in his living room and whispered, "I saved the best part of life for last, and now I don't have time left to open it." This is not a story meant to scare. It is a story meant to shake, because too many people are sleepwalking through their only life, distracted, overloaded, disconnected, waiting for the perfect time to start living. But the perfect time does not exist. The perfect time is now. You are not what you did yesterday. You are not what happened to you. You are not the mistakes you made or the love you lost. You are who you choose to be today, right now. So stop carrying yesterday like a bag of stones. Put it down. Let it be what it was. A chapter, not a sentence, not a prison. The race is not about running faster. It is about running wiser. A young girl once fell during a school race. She got up, kept running, came last. But the crowd stood and cheered louder for her than for the winner. Her teacher later said, "You may have come last in speed, but you came first in courage." That is the race of life, not about first place, but about showing up with heart, falling and rising, losing and learning, letting go and moving on. When we hold on to yesterday's pain, we limit today's peace. When we chase tomorrow's promise, we miss today's truth. Everything you need is not far away, it is within, and it starts with presence. There is a quiet wisdom in simplicity. Sitting with a friend without checking the clock. Watching the stars without capturing them on your phone. Eating your favorite meal slowly. Crying when you need to. Laughing without restraint. These are not small things. These are the real things. The race is not toward more. It is toward meaning. Veer eventually left the city. Not because it was bad, but because he realized he didn't belong in a place that rewarded speed over soul. He opened a small library in his village, taught children how to read, told stories in the evening. He lived with less money, but with more memories. People asked him, "Do you regret leaving everything?" He smiled and said, "I didn't leave everything. I left the noise, and I found life. Maybe you don't need to leave your job, or move to a village. Maybe you just need to slow down, to breathe, to check in with your heart, to ask yourself, am I living, or just functioning?" Every day is a choice, a chance to reset, to release, to return to what matters. You do not owe your past anything, but you owe your present everything. Remember, the race of life is not a sprint. It is not even a marathon. It is a walk, with stops, with pauses, with time to notice the flowers, the tears, the hands that hold yours, the sky that opens above you. You are allowed to rest, to change directions, to start again. You are allowed to stop running. Because sometimes the only way forward is to stand still and feel. Leave yesterday behind. Forgive it, thank it, and let it be. Live for today. Honor it, taste it, and let it fill you. There was once an old monk who sat near a river. People came from far away to ask him how to live a good life. He said, "The secret is simple. Do not carry yesterday's water. Drink today's. So drink today, fully, deeply, without fear, without guilt, because this day will never come again. And you are worthy of living it. This is the race that matters. The race of being fully here, of choosing love over fear, presence over pressure, connection over competition. Let the past be your teacher, not your jailer. Let the future be your compass, not your chain. Let today be your home, not your hallway. The race of life is not about outrunning others. It is about outrunning who you used to be and stepping into who you are meant to be. And that person, the one who is grounded, awake, honest, kind, grateful. That person does not live in someday. That person lives in today. So step into today with open eyes, with an open heart. Because this is your moment. This is your chance. This is your life. Run it wisely or walk it slowly, but live it fully. Because the race of life does not reward the fastest. It rewards the most present. And when you finally look back, may you smile not at how far you ran, but at how deeply you lived.